Okay, hi everybody, it's Sunday. Just across the street from me, I took a video of it and I'll post that later today. There was a D.O.T. officer at the truck stop waking drivers up to do full level 3 inspections. Now, legally they can do that. They can stop you anytime. Here's the problem. When you do that, then the driver has to go back on duty again. If the driver is trying to get their restart in, if the driver is trying to get their 10-hour break in, then they have to start over again. They have to start that entire break over again. The officer has now made that load late. The officer has affected that driver's paycheck. Right? I saw him do 2 trucks, and then I went inside the truck stop and I complained. I'm telling you right now, I complained. I said, you got a D.O.T. officer out there in the parking lot doing full inspections on drivers, level 3 inspections on drivers, waking them up, doing level 3 inspections. I said, that's just gonna cause drivers to go ahead and leave. That's gonna give you the rep that you let the D.O.T. officers come over here and inspect these drivers. They came out, they told the cop to leave. Now, truck stops are generally reticent to go ahead and tell the police officers to leave, because you don't want it so that the police are going to sit here and not come, and help you or whatever. But you're talking about their entire customer base, which is going to go ahead and make the truck stop go extinct, because nobody's going to want to come here if they have a chance they're going to get inspected. So he left. Now, for you drivers out there that are listening to this, if you feel that you have been wronged, I don't mean, well, he pulled me over and gave me a ticket and I don't think it was fair because, no, because he was hiding behind a signpost. That's entrapment. No, it isn't. That's not entrapment. You need to read what the definition of entrapment is. For the record, the definition of entrapment is the police making you do something that you wouldn't normally do. For example, a police officer comes up, gives you a gun, says, go rob that bank. That's a police order, okay? If it's a police order, you have to obey. You don't have a choice. You go in, you rob the bank, you come back out, he puts you under arrest and takes you to jail for bank robbery. That's entrapment. Because he made you, he ordered you to do something that you wouldn't normally do, okay? Before I go any further with that, I do have a degree in law enforcement and police administration. Okay, so you need to listen very, very closely. If you feel that you are wronged by any government official, DOT or state patrol or local yokels or whatever, be coherent and cooperative. Do whatever it is that they want you to do. Okay? Keep your mouth shut. Do whatever it is that they want you to do. After they're done with their inspection or whatever it is that they're doing, if you feel you have been wronged, if you feel, I was on my 10-hour break and the guy woke me up to do an inspection, now I got to start all over again. That's being wronged. Man, I was on my 34-hour break, the guy just came up in the truck stop and woke me up and made me come outside and do an inspection. That's being wronged. Okay? If you feel you have been wronged, here's what you need to do. You obey. You do everything that the officer tells you to do. Okay? Then you tell the officer, I want your name, your badge number, and your supervisor's name and phone number. Okay? Now, they are public officials. They have to give you that information on demand. I am not even kidding you. On demand, they have to give you that information. Okay? Don't let them sit here and tell you, oh no, I don't give that out. You tell them, I am a tax-paying citizen of the United States. I am demanding that information. You have to give it to me. That's the law. You have to. They'll give you the information. If they don't, you get their picture, you get a video, whatever you can do of you telling them that I want this information. Right? You get at least their badge name, their name off their shirt, their last name. You get at least that, the number of their police card, whatever you can get, whatever will identify them at that time being in that vehicle or, you know, interacting with you at all. Because how are you going to know their last name and the number of their police car if they didn't stop you? Okay? You get that information, and then you look at him and go, have a nice day, officer. Because they know what's going to come next. They know what you're going to do tomorrow. And then the next day, you call in, or that same day was a business day, and you talk to their supervisor, and you tell them, I want to file a formal complaint against Officer XYZ, badge number 4482, whatever. I want to file a formal complaint. I was at the truck stop yesterday. I have the paperwork to go ahead and prove it. If you want me to go ahead and send it to you, I will. He gave me an inspection. He woke me up from my break. He interrupted my 34. He interrupted my 10, whatever, to do a full level 3 inspection at the truck stop. This is treating the driver unfairly because now you're taking money out of my family. It's not just for a fine. You're taking money out of my family because now I can't run the truck. I can't even go out and make money to go ahead and pay the fine that you're going to give me. I can't even do that because I got to wait and I got to start everything all over again. So I want to file a formal complaint against Officer XYZ because he came to the truck stop and did it instead of going to a scale or a rest area or a truck area or just pulling you over on the side of the road and going ahead and do it or whatever. They can stop you anytime, anywhere. Why do they have to come to the truck stop? Why do they have to come to the place where we're safe? Why do they have to come to the place where we're not even moving? You know why? Because they're lazy. The officers that do that are lazy. I am not even kidding you. Well, they're doing the full inspection. They can't be that lazy. They're too lazy to go out and sit there on the interstate and stop trucks that are going down the interstate that are bad. They want to come here and drive by real slow and see what they can see. That's being lazy. Now, you file that formal complaint, okay? The officers, supervisors are going to write it up. And then you look at them and you go, here's my address, my name. I want you to go ahead and send me a copy of the complaint so I can make sure you did it. You don't tell them that, but so you can make sure that they did it. Okay? Now, that complaint goes into the officer's file. What's the big deal? You get another driver who goes ahead and complains about the same officer doing the same thing. Now you've got a pattern and a problem. Okay? Now the supervisor has to act. He has to go ahead and sit here and go, okay, well, the officer needs more training. Okay? So they bring him in and they go, you know what? You can't do that. You can't stop at truck stops and stop and do that because the drivers are on their break. They're not moving around or anything. Just leave them alone. And then he does it again. Now it's not a matter of retraining. It's a matter of the officer being a jerk. Okay? And he's making the rest of the department look bad. So now two things are going to happen. Either they're going to transfer him out, which is probably what's going to happen because, well, they're not my problem anymore. And I don't have to sit here and deal with the police union for firing him. Or he's going to get fired. Or he's going to get put on a desk job. Whatever. Okay? But the formal complaints are there so they can see a pattern growing. And that the complaint, whether it's founded or unfounded, stays with them for life. It's attached to their jacket, and it's looked at every single time they're up for a promotion or a raise. That's what it gets looked at. How many complaints do you have, and what are they all for? If the drivers would do more of the complaints about stuff that is actually unfair, I said actually unfair, the DOT would be a lot more careful about what they're doing, or the state police or whoever they have doing DOT inspections. They'd be a lot more careful. And you wouldn't have people like this one coming out today and inspecting trucks that are already parked at the truck stop and interrupting drivers' brakes. And like I said, I got a video of that. I'll go ahead and post that a little bit later on. It's time for you to complain when you're being treated unfairly. Every driver knows that there's a whole bunch of stories out there about North Carolina, DOT coming to truck stops, waking drivers up, and then giving you a ticket because you're sitting in the seat talking to the officer, but your mark is in your sleeper berth. And he goes, well, look at that, your log is inaccurate, I'm giving you a ticket. Everybody knows about that. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is, that's a complaint. You get the officer's badge, his name, and his supervisor's name and phone number, and you file a complaint. And believe me, that's going to stop. After a couple complaints, that's going to stop because that is unfair. So now you know what to do if that happens to you. You need to like, you need to share, you need to rumble to the other truck drivers so other truck drivers know what they can do about it, because they don't know what they can do. They figure that, well, they're DOT, I just have to just go ahead and just go along with it and whatever. You don't. You don't have to go along with it. You have to go along with it if they're fair. If it's not being fair, if they're waking you up from your break to go ahead and do an inspection, that's not fair. That's when you file your complaint. Now, if you're rolling, you're going through the scale, and they pull you over the scale and do an inspection, that's fair. You're on duty, you're driving, you're moving, you're all set. But you're sitting at the truck stop and you're not doing nothing, you haven't rolled all day, you're just sitting there, that's not fair. So make sure you know what's fair and what isn't fair, what is reasonably fair. And if it's not fair, file that complaint. Get it done. That's all for today.